Thank you for joining us tonight. You're now with me, Charles Shamanato, for TVS Nightline. Let's begin with the headlines tonight. Sarawak is known for its multiracial and multi-religious society, living along side by side in peace and harmony. Therefore, Sarawakians are urged to continue and preserve the relation, especially during these trying times, cultivating a good example for our neighbouring countries to emulate.
In conjunction with the 85th TYT birthday celebration this year, Deputy Chief Minister Dato' Amar Douglas Ugah Embas expressed his appreciation towards all religious bodies, as they are the bridge in bringing ties, enacting the inclusiveness and stability among the people of Sarawak.
Despite religious and racial diversities, Sarawak today is a beacon of unity, harmony, stability in the nation. This gathering is indeed a reflection of the inclusiveness, the harmony, solidarity, stability, and the progress here in Sarawak. As the saying goes, the more bridges that are built, the less room there is for fear and prejudices between us.
Ugah also highlighted that the good relationship and mutual understanding in the fight to control the COVID-19 infection in the country. Meanwhile, another 14 non-Islamic religious organizations today received financial assistance totaling 3.189 million ringgit from the Unit for Other Religions, UNIFOR. Earlier today, Deputy Chief Minister Dato' Amar Douglas Ugah presented the checks to the state assemblymen concerned or their representatives at his office.
Individuals who are planning to pulai kampung as they return to their hometown are reminded to carry out respective precautions by conducting their COVID-19 screening before starting their journey. This was following the rescinding of the inter-district travel ban made last Wednesday without the need to obtain a police permit. The matter was urged by Deputy Chief Minister Dato' Amar Douglas Ugah Embas. While COVID-19 cases show a decline, locals should continue to comply with the stipulated standard operating procedures (SOP) and practice self-discipline.
I would like to remind all Sarawakians of a very few pertinent reminder and advice. As you all know this, we have resigned the inter-district travel ban a few days ago, while cases are showing a downward trend. People are now free to move around, but it is in the best interest of all that they continue to observe our SOPs zealously. I would strongly advise those planning to return to their villages and long houses in the interior to take strictest precaution in doing so.
He said this in his speech in conjunction with UNIFOR's Thanksgiving Prayer Ceremony 2021 on Thursday.
This is the least you can do to protect our grandpa, grandma, parents, aunties and uncles, the young one from the COVID-19. Use your mask, use your face mask, observe the physical distancing, avoid close conversation, and do not gather in a group to socialize with others when you have arrived in your.
Meanwhile, many had been wondering the idea behind the concept and why the government is eager to inculcate the spirit of Keluarga Malaysia. Therefore, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob today officiated the soft launch of the Malaysian family concept to provide a clearer picture of the term he introduced on August 22. This answer, as he commented, was simple, whereby a family will always uphold religious principles, ensure safety, protect the dignity and care for the well-being of each other.
Dalam konteks negara, kita adalah keluarga Malaysia yang terdiri daripada pelbagai agama, bangsa, kaum dan usia. Walaupun berbeza kepercayaan, latar belakang dan budaya, kita meraihkan keterangkuman dalam perbezaan, menjunjung semangat Malaysia sebagai sebuah negara bangsa. Kemajmukan yang kita raihkan inilah yang menjadi benih yang membugar dalam hati setiap rakyat Malaysia. Kelangsungan ini merupakan aset yang mesti terus dipertahankan. Justru, nilai setiap keluarga Malaysia merupakan komponen penting demi menentukan jatuh bangun bumi bertuah ini.
The government has launched the KELUARGA Malaysia squad that will coordinate all the mechanisms of aid delivery all around the country. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said about 10,000 individuals are ready to be mobilised to every corner of the country to help those affected by the pandemic.
Jumlah ini dijangka bertambah apabila lebih banyak kementerian dan agensi serta sukarelawan keluarga Malaysia mendaftarkan diri.
To ensure the success of the KELUARGA Malaysia concept, the Prime Minister said every ministry and agency were identifying suitable products to be adopted as part of efforts to help the people. The squad would be a collaboration of agencies under various ministries, the private sector, as well as non-governmental organizations, NGOs. Commenting further, Ismail said the Malaysian family is an inclusive concept that cuts across religious, ethnic and racial boundaries and invites Malaysians to come together as a unified family.
The global pandemic proves that by working hand in hand, we as humans could achieve the unthinkable and create something wonderful. This is proven as local artists collaborated with the local government to help those who are affected by the global pandemic. Now, Batu Kitang Assemblyman Loh Kier Chiang partnered with local artists in Kuching to organize the Art for Hearts charity, where the proceeds from selling of artworks will be donated to those in need.
I would like to encourage our viewers, I would like to encourage the public to buy up these drawings generously, because every cent of it will go into charity. Every cent of it will go into a good cause. Every cent of it will go to those who need this money most, to the sick, to the less fortunate, and to whoever that needs it.
Loh Kier Chiang, who officiated the event, encourages local artists to donate arts to be sold at the charity to support this effort.
I hope we can gather even more artists and I don't know, maybe not just artists, maybe portrait makers or whatever, you know, those with talents.
In the name of art.
Yes, to come up with their products, to sell it to the public, and the public, I would love to encourage our public, those who have money, and those who can afford, please contribute generously to this good cause.
Meanwhile, two local artists, photographer Karen Sia Lee Pin and painter Ng Pai San, also expressed their hope that their drawings and pictures sold could provide the much-needed assistance to the needy.
My photos not only can help in raising funds to help the less fortunate, but also to spread the positivity to others.
All the drawings that I donated today, 8 pieces, is all focused specifically on flowers, different type of flowers with different tones of color combinations.
In line with the government's aspirations to develop the economy and maintain environmental sustainability, the implementation of the Forest Landscape Restoration Program has become a key element under the Gabungan Party SARAWAK, or GPS, and it's part of preserving and conserving the environment towards the sustainable state. Assistant Minister of Urban Development and Resources, Dato' Len Talif Salif, said a total of 10 million ringgit has been spent by the government this year for the sustainable development.
Dalam kita membangunkan negara ataupun negeri kita, kita juga memberi penekanan yang sama pada untuk memastikan projek-projek ataupun aktiviti yang kita jalankan selari dengan alam sekitar setempat. Kalau kita lihat daripada apa yang berlaku seluruh dunia pada hari ini, banyak tempat-tempat yang tidak pernah banjir, banyak tempat yang tiada gempa bumi, dan juga banyak tempat yang tidak yang pernah dengan hujan ataupun kemarau. Jadi sebab itulah kita tidak terlambat untuk kita mengambil inisiatif ini.
He added that the Sarawak government emphasis on forest landscape restoration program as the main agenda for the purpose of forestation. This was to ensure the program achieves the set targets. The research and development R&D elements will be strengthened.
Dan memastikan liputan hutan kaba kita di negeri Sarawak ini tidak kurang daripada 56%. Walaupun pada hari ini kita mempunyai 63% liputan forest cover, kalau dibanding kepada negeri-negeri yang lain di Malaysia ini, negeri Sarawak lah merupakan negeri yang terbanyak sekali liputan forest cover. Kalau di Semenanjung lebih kurang 45-46%, di Sabah lebih kurang 50%. Tapi kalau kita lihat dari segi sejarah, memang tidak dapat dinafikan, memang liputan hutan di negeri Sarawak ini memang melebihi 90% kalau kita lihat dalam 100 tahun yang dulu.
Saya dan YB Timbalan Menteri dah kayuh bersikap sejauh 20 km. Anda bila lagi? Hari Sukan Negara dah dekat ni. Jangan tunggu lagi. Jom.
Jom YB, kita kayuh balik.
Sambung lagi.
Sambung lagi.
Mari semua.
Alright.
Tahun tu memang susah bagi semua orang. Syarikat terpaksa melepaskan beberapa pekerja. Jadi kau si perlu datang situ pergi maksud kami, syarikat akan melepaskan kau juga.
Masalah gitu, aku akan potong gaji kau hujung bulan tu. Dah set dah kali lain lagi dah. Mun lain kali terjadi lagi, kau aku buang.
Apa ni? Tunggu.
Welcome back to the Nightline with the COVID-19 development. Sarawak today came in second in the list of most cases recorded in Malaysia with 1,339 cases. The number of COVID-19 infections today brought the cumulative number of COVID-19 cases in the state to 222,381 cases.
Selangor took the top spot today after recording a sudden rise in infections with 1,796 cases reported in the last 24 hours. According to Sarawak Disaster Management Committee (SDMC), a total of 8 fatalities due to the virus were recorded in Sarawak between September 28 and October 6. No new clusters were announced today. Meanwhile, 9 clusters has officially ended as there were no new cases reported by the cluster in the last 28 days. Namely, the clusters are Cluster Jalan Masuri and Cluster Jalan Tunku Abdul Rahman in Sibu, Cluster Nangga Tapeh in Betong, Cluster Nansang Tugong and Cluster Sungai Sawa in Pakan, Cluster Jero Gelasah and Cluster Max Bilibai in Subis, Cluster Merajang in Limbang and Cluster Jalan Bintulu Miri 2 in Bintulu. The number of new COVID-19 cases recorded in Malaysia today showed a slight drop with 9,751 infections recorded. This brings the nation's cumulative COVID-19 cases to 2,323,478.
And now on to some vaccination development. According to the data by the Ministry of Health (MOH) on the COVID Now portal, 89.1% of the adult population have completed their COVID-19 vaccination regime. This equals 20,856,337 individuals. However, this percentage is 0.9% short of the ministry's targeted percentage by early October. MOH has targeted to have 90% of adults being inoculated. However, the percentage of adults who have received their first dose have recorded beyond the 90% mark, standing at 94.6%. A total of 996,647 vaccines were administered yesterday. 108,092 were of the first dose and 88,555 were the second doses. This brings the total inoculated individuals under the National COVID-19 Immunization Program to 45,204,479. Meanwhile, 4.7% of 147,938 adolescents aged 12 to 17 have completed their vaccination regime, while 2,156,346 have received at least one dose of the vaccine. Previously, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said interstate travel would resume when 90% of the adult population in Malaysia have been fully vaccinated. The permission on interstate travel will be enforced simultaneously nationwide. However, the permission would be enforced when the vaccination rate of the adult population had reached 90%, in which, as many have been anticipating, this would be announced in a few days' time. The target of having 90% of the adult population vaccinated is close to being achieved after 89.1% of the adult population in the country was reported to have been fully vaccinated against COVID-19 as of yesterday. Ismail Sabri had previously announced that state borders would be reopened when the adult population vaccination rate reached 90%. Meanwhile, the community vaccine was granted conditional approval to be used as a booster shot at least 6 months after the second dose for those aged 18 and above. Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah said the matter was decided during the 365th Drug Control Authority DCA meeting today. He added the community vaccine produced by Pfizer, manufacturing Belgium NV, and BioNTech, manufacturing GmbH Germany, was earlier approved for conditional registration on June 15 for individuals aged 12 and above. Commenting further, Dr. Noor Hisham said the approval of the conditional registration required information on the quality, safety and effectiveness of the vaccine to be monitored and evaluated based on the latest data from time to time. This aims to ensure that the benefit over risk comparison remained positive. He added the ministry is always committed in improving access to COVID-19 vaccine products in Malaysia by ensuring that they have been evaluated in terms of quality, safety and effectiveness by the National Pharmaceutical Regulatory Agency and approved by DCA. And now on to the next update. The new wholesale and retail selling price for the COVID-19 antigen rapid test kit will be issued in November. Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Minister Datuk Seri Alexander Nantalinggi in a statement said the ministry was making an assessment of the matter and had received feedback from the industry on the price level that should be considered to ensure an adequate and continuous supply of the product. Previously, the government had set the maximum retail price for the COVID-19 antigen rapid test kit at 1990 ringgit per set, while the wholesale price was set at 16 ringgit per set, effective September 5. Meanwhile, Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said the ceiling price of the COVID-19 antigen rapid test kit would be lowered as an incentive for the public to make their own checks when interstate travel is allowed. Commenting further, Nanta said there are about 6 million COVID-19 antigen rapid test kits already in the market. The ministry was also in discussions with the Health Ministry to enable more premises like supermarkets to sell the test kit.
Ayah, su hatinya. Nevin. Nevin je every day.
Cik gula alik yang tak jadi buat ya.
Oh, ada gas.
Yang penting gas ya.
Oh, yang penting gas.
Macak gas ya.
Cik, ambil yang mana lah. Aku mau viral ni.
Apa kau mau viral?
Siapa masuk buat nisipek?
Apa bang ada ni pek?
Ai, show kan TVS ya. Setiap Isnin sampai Ahad, 2 suku petang.
Sawangan 122.
Tahu pun. Tahu pun tanya aku.
Saya dan YB Timbalan Menteri dah kayuh bersikal sejauh 20 km. Anda bila lagi? Hari Sukan Negara dah dekat ni. Jangan tunggu lagi. Jom.
Jom YB, kita kayu balik.
Sambung lagi.
Sambung lagi.
Mari semua.
Alright.
Thank you for staying with me. The pandemic has resulted negatively on the income of many, including those in the entertainment industry. As an attempt to resolve the matter, Deputy Minister of Communications and Multimedia, Dato' Zahidi Zainul Abidin, mulled over the idea of establishing an organization that would oversee the local music industry, whilst protecting the welfare of Malaysian artists. Therefore, our team was in touch with several local artists in Sarawak, namely Nisa Adina, Gucci Myth and Steph Floor, who expressed their support towards the proposal, albeit with some concerns.
I think it's a good start, I guess, because due to the pandemic, all our, all our resources and all our source of income has been like halted with events not being able to run and all that. So we're having a hard time trying to not only gain income, but also our portfolio stops there. So when we wanted to, propose ourselves to other people, and then there's a gap there that we couldn't fill, and it's kind of demotivating and all that. So it's really good that this sector is being thought of.
To cope with the pandemic, the 26-year-old singer is now working as an external relations and partnerships executive with the Tegas Digital Village. Steph, who recently released a new single called If You Don't Love Me Now, also expressed that if such organization is established to protect artists, they should also look into the minimum pay for singers when they are invited to perform at an event.
There's no proper establishment of how much we are getting paid for a job and all that. Sometimes people would invite us to do a show but only pay us a measly amount of 50 ringgit, 100 ringgit, which is unreasonable.
This practice has been a norm in the industry, as confirmed by singer and composer Nisa Adina, who is currently based in Kuala Lumpur. A minimum rate has to be set to protect musicians from being exploited with undeserving low payments. On the establishment of a protective organization for Malaysian artists, however, Nisa has her own concerns.
First of all, I think it's great that they're looking to support us financially. But I do have some doubts according to the article. Like they mentioned just singers, which I don't understand because do they mean all musicians or just singers? Because I feel like if they only want to support the singers, then it kind of defeats the purpose of helping the local music industry. And also, if they do want to help us financially, I hope there's no hidden rules or biases with who they fund, because this is what I fear. A government body that claims they are supporting us, but only to their terms and conditions.
The 24-year-old graduate of Berkeley's University added if policies and censoring are applied through the said organization, it will hurt the local music scene greatly. She, however, is optimistic that such is not the case.
I really hope that isn't the case, and they're actually genuinely they want to financially support us. I do think one thing they can do to support us is maybe funding more venues for us to perform at, maybe.
On the other hand, Gucci Myth, an underground rapper who recently released a single titled Betrayed, feels that the proposal came at such a critical time, though it should have been established even before the pandemic.
As an underground artist, cases like someone stealing our songs for this show, or a lot of cases like that happening right now, and it's a huge problem for underground artists like me, because at least they ask for the permission. But what government doing right now, I think it's a good move. But yeah, it's kind of late for them to notice this kind of problem, but I totally support what they are doing right now.
Gucci Myth, who is now 22 years old, has had a few encounters whereby his music was used without his discretion and that the other party are profiting from it. Unlike artists who are signed with a record label, he has difficulties in identifying those who use or upload his work online without proper accreditation. Therefore, he hopes that an artist's work will be protected with the establishment of the said organization.
Our song is really important to us, so at least if they want to use our song, like other people or any creators, video creators, at least they pay for it or give us some royalties, so that we can get at least a bit of the money from the things that they are doing. So because we're not being treated kindly from the people.
And now on to our sports development. As the national men's and women's badminton squads prepare to compete against some of the world's greatest nations in the prestigious Thomas and Uber Cup Finals 2020, which begins tomorrow. In Aarhus, Denmark, it's wise not to get our hopes up. More so since both the Malaysian Thomas Cup and Uber Cup rosters are represented by young players whose goal is to pave the way for a greater challenge in the future rather than to reach the heights today. Although the nation is represented by young underdog shuttlers, morale among the athletes are high. This was after their splendid bronze medal achievement at the recently concluded mixed team Sudirman Cup competition in Vantaa, Finland. However, national shuttlers were reminded to stay focused as the Thomas and Uber Cup are two different ball games. Malaysia was drawn in Group D, while only a win against Canada is enough to confirm the quarter-final spot. It has been almost 3 decades since Malaysia last lifted the Thomas Cup trophy, back in 1992 on home ground. And that concludes TVS Nightline for tonight. And as always, thank you for tuning in to your local news tonight. Here with me, Shosha Metro, and I'll see you next time. Have a good weekend.